Have you ever heard someone from Africa speak English and thought for a second they might be Filipino? Sounds crazy, right? But it's happening, and not just in one place. From the busy streets of Lagos to the classrooms of Nairobi, from Ghana's online tutoring hubs to TikTok creators in South Africa, there's a new way of speaking English that's spreading fast, and it sounds a lot like the Filipino style. The tone, the rhythm, the warmth, even the way sentences rise slightly at the end, it's all there. But here's the real shocker. Most people don't even realize they're doing it. This isn't just about accents or pronunciation. This is about connection. It's about how millions of Africans are reshaping the way they speak so they can be understood, accepted, and respected by the world. And the model they're using? The Filipino way, friendly, clear, polite, and globally recognizable. So how did a style born thousands of miles away in Southeast Asia become the blueprint for a new African English identity? How did this voice, once used in call centers and classrooms, become the sound of a rising generation across an entire continent? The story behind this shift is bigger than language, and it's about opportunity, culture, and the surprising power of how we speak. What if I told you that the way millions of Africans are speaking English today didn't just happen naturally? It was learned, copied, and perfected from people thousands of miles away. What if the influence didn't come from London or New York, but from Manila? Think about it. The warmth, the friendliness, the confidence, it's not just coincidence. There's a specific reason why more and more Africans are adopting the Filipino way of speaking. Because the Filipino style of English has something powerful that connects instantly with listeners. It's easy to understand, it sounds trustworthy, and it carries an emotional tone that feels human, not robotic. And in an online world where being understood means being hired, being followed, being respected, that kind of communication matters. From teachers on Zoom calls to customer service agents, YouTubers, and even comedians, people across Africa are discovering that sounding Filipino helps them sound more global. It's not about trying to be Filipino, it's about learning the rhythm that makes people listen. That soft tone, that clear enunciation, that friendly upward lilt that turns every sentence into an invitation. And what's even more fascinating? It's spreading naturally through YouTube tutorials, TikTok trends, and social media videos where Africans are watching, imitating, and mastering a speaking style that's helping them connect with the world in a whole new way. In the early 2000s, something remarkable started happening in the Philippines. The country became a global powerhouse for English communication, especially in customer service and online education. Companies from the United States, Australia, and Europe began outsourcing their support centers to cities like Manila and Cebu because Filipinos spoke English in a way that felt warm, clear, and emotionally intelligent. It wasn't just about grammar, it was about connection. Filipinos developed a neutral melodic English tone that made international clients feel comfortable. They mastered the art of speaking in a global language without losing their cultural friendliness. Every sentence sounded polite, approachable, and sincere. Over time, this became known as the neutral accent, and it quickly became the gold standard for global communication. Now fast forward a decade later, Africa started stepping onto the same digital stage. With the rise of online freelancing, remote work, and digital education, Africans began joining the same global market that Filipinos had already been dominating. Suddenly, millions of young professionals across Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, and South Africa were teaching English online, working as virtual assistants, and handling customer service for clients abroad. But there was a challenge. How to make their English universally understandable. And when they looked around for inspiration, the Filipino accent stood out. It wasn't overly Western, it wasn't forced, and it didn't erase cultural identity. It was clear, kind, and confident, exactly what global clients wanted to hear. So Africans began watching Filipino training videos, listening to their tone, studying how they pronounce words like water, customer, schedule, and comfortable. It wasn't mimicry, and it was mastery. They were learning how to communicate like professionals who already knew how to win in the global economy. What started as a business necessity slowly turned into a movement, a shared style of English that connected two regions across oceans through sound, respect, and opportunity. Across the continent, a quiet transformation is taking shape, and it starts with the voice. English teachers in Nairobi and Accra are uploading tutorials on how to neutralize your accent. So influencers in Lagos are recording pronunciation challenges. Tutors in Rwanda are practicing vowel sounds late into the night, repeating phrases they learned from Filipino YouTube coaches. The goal? To sound clear, friendly, and global, the same way millions of Filipinos have been trained to speak. The Filipino style of English has become the hidden curriculum for digital success. Africans are realizing that communication is currency. And the Filipino approach is the blueprint. Watch an African online tutor greet a student. The gentle upward tone at the end of a sentence, the softened T in water, the careful pacing, all small details that make speech sound polished and international. It's not about erasing identity or pretending to be someone else. It's about learning how to be heard. Because in today's digital world, your voice is your brand. And by learning from the Filipino way of speaking, Africans are not just improving accents, they're mastering the rhythm of confidence, politeness, and connection that gets people to listen, trust, and remember. This movement is changing lives in ways few people are talking about. Take a young teacher from Ghana who used to struggle finding students online. After adopting a neutral Filipino-inspired tone, her bookings tripled in just a few months. Or a customer service agent in Kenya whose call center now handles clients from Europe and the US because international companies prefer voices that sound globally understandable. Freelancers across Africa are finding that the clearer and warmer their English sounds, the more doors open, more interviews, more contracts, more opportunities. But this isn't just about money, it's about empowerment. For many Africans, learning to speak in a Filipino-inspired English style is a way to stand tall in global conversations, to prove that they belong, to communicate with confidence in a world that often judges based on accent before skill. This blending of styles, African energy with Filipino clarity, has created something beautiful, a new global English that feels both local and international. It's the sound of ambition. It's the voice of a generation refusing to be left out of the digital economy. It's proof that the way we speak can literally change the trajectory of our lives. When you really think about it, language has never just been about words, it's about identity, connection, and belonging. The Filipino way of speaking English carries a certain emotional intelligence, a warmth that welcomes, a politeness that softens, and a rhythm that makes people feel heard. And that's exactly what so many Africans are embracing today. They're not copying, they're connecting. They're learning to speak in a way that transcends geography, in a way that makes their message matter beyond borders. This isn't about losing authenticity, it's about amplifying it. The Filipino tone isn't erasing African culture, it's enhancing it, allowing African professionals, creators, and dreamers to share their voice with the world in a way the world easily understands. Maybe that's what the future of global English looks like. Not owned by any one country or accent, but shared by cultures that value respect, warmth, and clarity. Maybe the true power of language lies not in who invented it, but in who perfects how it's shared. Now here's the question. Have you noticed it? Have you heard that familiar Filipino rhythm in the voices of African creators, teachers, or professionals online? If you have, you're witnessing history in real time. The birth of a new global voice shaped by two continents working toward the same dream. To be understood, to be respected, to be heard. If this story inspired you, if you believe language can unite people more than it divides them, then don't just scroll away. Leave a comment below and tell me what you think about this incredible cultural connection. Do you think the Filipino style of English is the future of global communication? Let's talk about it. And if you want more deep stories about how language, culture, and technology are shaping our world, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because the next story might just change the way you listen forever.